Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this dual battery setup for my 2001 Chevy 1500. And what I wanted to do with my dual battery setup was basically allow for a secondary battery to do winching, and also an auxiliary battery for my travel trailer hookup that I have in the back for the camper when I pull the camper. So there's basically three items you need for the dual battery setup, just a basic setup. And that's the secondary battery, a charging relay or a DC to DC charger, and then a battery switch, which is right over here. And then there's the starting battery. The secondary battery that I chose is just a regular, it's basically a starting battery. It's just a regular flooded lead acid battery. I didn't go with a deep cycle or anything like that because I was just going to be using it for the winch and maybe the second battery hookup for the camper, and it's cheaper. I just wanted to start out with that. The other thing is, when you have a regular car battery or a starting battery, and you can get by with this automatic charging relay instead of a DC to DC charger, because you're going to have the same kind of charging voltage requirements for the batteries when they're the same type. So I just went with the regular flooded lead acid battery. This terminal is a negative cable. All the cables are 2-gauge welding cable, and the negative just ties from the secondary battery over to the starting battery. There's two positive cables coming out of the positive on the auxiliary battery. One of them goes from here over to the battery switch, and the other one goes from here up into the automatic charging relay via a 350 amp fuse that sits in line with the charging relay. This charging relay is a Blue Sea 7610 automatic charging relay, and it will, when there's a voltage from the alternator coming through the positive cable, it will let that through and charge your secondary battery. But if there's no, or if there's a draw or there's no charge, then they're not connected. It won't let the batteries be tied together for a draw. That way, if you're using your secondary battery for winching or whatever else it is, it's not going to be pulling power through the positive cable through the charging relay to draw down your starting battery. It'll stay fresh. So then from the charging relay, that positive goes up through the back, around and over here to another fuse, and then over to the starting battery. So that connection is from one to the other, but has the ACR relay in the middle. And then I have another cable coming from the start battery over here to the battery switch, and then I also have the regular positive coming from the battery down to the alternator and start the vehicle. This small 10-gauge positive here is hooked up to the to battery number 2, the auxiliary. This is what goes back to the 7-pin connection at the back of the vehicle to hook into the travel trailer. The battery switch here is also a Blue Sea battery switch. It's 350 amp rated, and you can select either number 1, which is my start battery, or number 2 for winching, or you can select 1+2. Now the other thing you can do with this is, since there's connections coming in off of both batteries on each side, is that if you have a dead start battery for whatever reason, you can go down here to 1+2, and that will basically allow you to jump start yourself. I've used that before. It works good, and so you've got basically onboard jump starter for that. And so other than that, the only thing I have connected to this is the winch cable. So you can select which battery you want to winch off of, or if you want to use both. And then and if you have it set to off, there's not going to be any power to the winch underneath or in front, and so you have to get under here to set that to on to select a battery in order to run the winch. So it gives you a little bit of little bit of security on that for the winching. But that's basically what I've got set up for the dual battery. It's a very basic system, but it's been working good. I've had no issues. I've had it in here about 4 years. So that's all I got today. Thanks for watching.